In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 easy ways to identify the best REIT ETF for your portfolio. And in case you're still not sure of the differences between the REIT ETF versus individual REITs, you can check out my previous video over here by clicking on the link in the top right hand corner. But for those of you who prefer a hassle-free, simple way to invest in a diversified basket of REITs, then you should stick around as I go through the REIT ETFs in details. But before we dive in, if you haven't done so, do join my free weekly newsletter where you will get tips on the US and Singapore stock markets, stock ideas, analyst reports, and many more. So without further ado, let's jump back to the video. Okay, so I've put together a quick breakdown of the 5 REIT ETFs in Singapore into these Google Sheets with the latest information at the time of doing this video. It has taken me quite a bit of time to do the compiling because I have to go in every REIT ETF's fact sheet or website to get the data. So if you are enjoying this content, it would mean a lot to me if you can hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to help support me. Thank you very much in advance, and without further ado, let's dive into the 5 points or 5 easy ways on how you can pick your REIT ETF. Alright, so the first number one thing that I look at is of course the methodology. Right, so what are they using to filter for the REITs that they're gonna put inside this ETF? Okay, so let me just highlight every row that we are talking about. Okay, so for this instance, we can see that Philip dividend leaders, they are choosing the 30 highest total dividend paying REITs in the Asia Pacific excluding Japan region. Okay, Nikko AM is to pass the international standards. Lion Philip is to choose high quality S REITs. CSOP and Syfe REIT Plus is the liquidity. So they want the average daily traded value to be more than 500,000 US dollars for new constituents and 400,000 for existing constituent. So only those very, I would say, mid to blue chip kind of REITs will be inside the ETF itself. And then finally, we have this UB APAC Green REIT ETF, where they cover 50 high yield REITs that display better environmental performance. So basically, the REITs uh, have very high ESG standards and things like that. All right. So the second thing that I look at is geographical coverage and industry allocation. Okay, so let me just highlight again. So same thing. Okay, we can see that except for Lion Philip and CSOP, the rest of them have a bit of overseas exposure. So it depends on you whether you prefer to have everything in Singapore, or maybe you want some overseas exposure as well. Like for example, if you go for Philip dividend leaders, right? They have a majority of it in Australia. Okay, Australia, followed by Singapore, okay, then Hong Kong. Okay, or the Green REIT ETF as well. Australia contributes to 40%, Singapore 28%. Okay, so all the REIT ETFs have quite a bit of REITs in the Singapore region, Singapore country. The reason being, I think Singapore is a so-called a hub for REITs lah. So every good property developer or property management firm will come and list their REITs in Singapore because of our community that we love REITs so much, right? So I think it is a given fact that many of the Singapore REITs will be inside these REIT ETFs. Now, moving on to industries allocation. This is where it is a bit differentiated, okay, in the sense that it depends on whether you want to have a more diversified kind of REITs inside the ETF, or you prefer going for names that you're familiar with under the retail sector, or you prefer some industrial exposure. Okay, but most of them, right, if you just take a quick look over here, most of them have retail REITs inside. The reason being, okay, later I'll talk about the top holdings lah. Okay, but um, our retail scene is very vibrant, or rather, a lot of shopping malls in Singapore, and that's why the retail REITs are so highly favored, right? In terms of either the REIT ETF or the liquidity or things like that, because of their huge market size as well. All right. Now let's move on to the third point that I want to show you is dividend yield. Okay, so this is a thing that all income investors will look at. From one glance, you can see which are the higher ones, okay, higher performing ones, which is the IHS REIT Leaders ETF giving 5.8%, whereas the Green REIT ETF, the lowest among all at around 3.9%. Okay, so other than the dividend yield, the other thing that we need to take note of is, of course, the expense ratio. Okay, so the expense ratio is what, like, let's say you buy the REIT ETF, you get the dividend yield, you get the capital appreciation, because let's say you buy the REIT ETF at $1, it goes up to $1.10, you're getting a 10% capital returns, right? But not forgetting that you have to pay the the manager or the REIT manager, the REIT ETF manager, the expense ratio. They help you to do this management, to buy and sell all these REITs. You have to pay them something, right? So for Philip Dividend Leaders REIT ETF, they have the highest expense ratio at 1.8%. The other three at around 0.6, 0.5%. Whereas for Syfe, right, they can go down all the way from 0.65 to 0.25%, depending on the asset size you have with REIT itself, with the Syfe platform itself. And then finally, we have the UOB Green REIT ETF, where the expense ratio can go up to 2%. So far is around stagnant at 0.5%. I haven't really dived into the details of how it can go up to 2%, but it is stated in the fact sheet over here, if I'm not wrong. Okay, you can just click on the link and be directed to the website and take a look. Okay, so this is also another point that we need to take note, because the lower the expense ratio, the higher possible returns, right? In fact, right, if you think about it, I think the Vanguard founder, right, John Bullock, has always mentioned how a high expense ratio might not seem much, okay, when you take a look, like maybe 1+% versus 0.6, but over time it can really eat into your returns compared to another low cost option. So it is very important to take note of this as well. All right. Um, Last pointer to note for me, it is about the top holdings inside the REIT ETF. So we have seen how they have come up with the methodology, right? And so you will be able to see the top holdings inside the REIT ETF as well. So I've only listed down the top three REIT constituents over here. If you're interested, you can go to each tab. Okay, so like for example, Philip Dividend Leaders ETF. I already taken a snapshot and then post it over here. If not, you can also just click on the link and then go be directed over there and take a look. Okay. So okay, maybe for them they didn't put the top holdings. You can see for Nico AM they have okay, so over here the link rate is 10%, CICT is 9.9%, Asanda's REIT 9.7%, and Embassy Office Parks REIT 6.2%. So this is one unfamiliar name, or rather new REIT that you may want to check out. What is this Embassy Office Parks REIT? So this is where, when it comes to the REIT constituents, you need to go into each of the REIT ETF and check out what is inside, whether you like that kind of the particular REIT that's inside the ETF. Okay, maybe I just go through one. Right, Lion Philip. Okay, so you have Fraser Logistics REIT, CICT, MIT, MLT, Asanda's REIT, and all these familiar names inside. Okay, so same goes for I think CSOP and Syfe REIT Plus. So the only thing that I can't reconcile, right, is the fact that CSOP, I think their website is maybe a bit outdated in a sense. When I grab the top 10 holdings, right, it can differ from the top 10 holdings from Syfe website itself. So I'm also not sure, okay, which one to take. I've just put both of them here for your own reference. You can go check it out yourself. Or if better still, you can let me know in the comments down below which one you feel that is more updated or you have done the research, right? I mean, a lot of us REIT investors would have done the research. You can also let me know in the comments down below. Okay. So all in all, these are the 5 easy ways to pick the best REIT ETF for your own portfolio. Okay, now to move on, let me show you what is my best REIT ETF. Alright, so if you were to ask me, James, which is my personal choice of the REIT ETF among all these? Alright, and my answer to you is very simple. I will walk through the 5 easy ways that I've gone through just now to pick one that I personally like. And from the list over here, my pick is definitely Syfe REIT Plus. Okay, so let me walk you through my thought process. Okay, so first of all, I want it to be a good index. Okay, I want it to focus on leaders. Okay, so all of them are somewhat focusing on leaders already lah. So right, the second one I want is to have good liquidity. So over here you can see that they focus on the traded value or the value that is being traded on a day-to-day basis must be above 500,000 US dollars. So this already sort of narrow down to more of the mid and big cap REITs. Okay, and on top of that, I would like all my REITs to be based in Singapore because I don't want to worry about all these overseas, maybe currency risks or some other governments try to come up with some new policy that will affect, any of the REITs that's inside the REIT ETF. So because when I choose a REIT ETF, I already have another big allocation of my portfolio in growth stocks, US growth stocks or small cap stocks. I want something that's more stable. And that's for me, okay? My own personal preference. So I want something is more stable, more what I can see and feel on the ground. I can go down and take a look and things like that. So I want them to be based in Singapore, or at least they are Singapore REITs investing in overseas, but they have still their portfolio of their properties somewhat in Singapore. Okay, the other industries allocation part that I look at is industrial and retail. Okay, because I'm familiar with them, I have I work in a ex company where they are part of the so-called the industrial, uh, where they turn this kind of industrial areas into office areas. Yeah, so I do believe that industrial places, they have a lot of different um, functionalities that you can impose upon. You can turn it into like small offices. You can, change it into master lease for certain customer. There are a lot of things that you can do with industrial properties. So I don't mind having a bigger percentage to that area. And retail is also something that I'm familiar with. I go to Capital Land malls or the all the different Causeway Point, North Point, under Fraser, and so I'm familiar with them as well. So I do feel comfortable in that space. Okay, so I talk about dividend yield and expense ratio. And the last part that I want to emphasize is the dividend distribution frequency. Okay, so over here you can see that if you are a retiree, Maybe you will want the dividends to be distributed to you on a quarterly basis so that you have some passive income every quarter. But for me, I would prefer the dividends to be reinvested back to grow the so-called the dividend portfolio or the REIT portfolio. So I would prefer Syfe in this aspect. And it is doing so in automated basis, so I don't really have to worry about, oh, I getting this $1,000 dividends, I want to park it back, how do I go and buy again? So if I buy the REIT ETF again, am I gonna be charged commission again every single time I do that transaction? So more often than not, if it's me, right, I would just go for the reinvestment route. Like, it's much easier and hassle free. So just keep everything there. I just have a plan that I pump in, like 200 to 500 every month, and then it can just compound by itself. All in all, Syfe REIT Plus is my personal choice. And if you're keen to try out Syfe REIT Plus, good news. Okay, right now Syfe is running an upgraded referral program with double the benefits for both you and me. Okay, from now until 30 November 2024. Okay, so what is it about? And over here you can see, okay, Syfe REIT Plus is actually under Syfe's managed portfolio. So the first column over here, assuming you pump in $10,000 to invest in the Syfe REIT Plus, you will get a 10 months fee waiver. And if you are also looking to invest in US stocks, okay, you can also check out their brokerage account where you will get a $80 cashback if you also pump in another $10,000 deposit. Check out my referral link down here, or you can also use this promo code to go to the account settings and redeem and key in this promo code. All right. So for more details, you can check out my affiliate link down in the description box or in the pinned comment below. To wrap up, if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below on which REIT ETF you are thinking of buying. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more investing tips. And of course, sign up for my newsletter at investkaki.com for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else. Last but not least, if you have a few minutes to spare, catch my next video over here.